Is bending the truth now seen as the price of getting ahead in the job market? This week, we are joined by Chloe Spillane, founder career coach from Chloe Careers, to unpack the rise of career phishing and what it says about modern hiring. With reports showing that many job seekers are exaggerating qualifications during their search, should this trend be seen purely as a deception, or is it in response to an increasingly competitive expectations from employers? Also, are you looking to hire quality talent fast? We have 3 new top candidates that are ready to work across Australia. Welcome to Australia's Market Update. My name is Aiden Boast. I'm the North Shore manager at People to People. And today we're going to be talking about a couple of topics. One of the main ones is career phishing. So career phishing is becoming a growing problem in hiring, with job seekers exaggerating their qualifications or experience to stand out. A report revealed that a staggering 93% of job seekers have committed career phishing in an attempt to get ahead in their search. It makes it more difficult for employers to assess real capability, while leaving candidates exposed to serious credibility risks if the truth comes out. It also raises important questions for both sides. Why career phishing is becoming more common? Where are the candidates most likely to exaggerate, and how can employers spot the red flags without overlooking strong talent? To discuss this further, we're joined today by Chloe Spillane, founder, career coach from Chloe Careers. Hi, Chloe. How are you going on today?
Hi, Aiden. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good. And thanks for jumping on. It's definitely an interesting topic to talk about. So really keen to ask you a few questions around this. But first of all, to start off, I'd love to hear more about yourself and your business.
For sure. Thank you so much for having me. So I am a career coach and founder of Chloe Careers. My background is in recruitment. I started the career coaching business a few years ago, though, and I work with people around the world that want to be able to communicate their value, back themselves, and land the careers that they know that they're capable of. I also work in the AI space. I've cloned myself into a digital twin, so I have a little AI career coach. And most recently, yeah, that's been a journey. And then recently, using my recruitment background, have started offering hiring audits for organizations wanting to improve their recruitment processes.
Nice, great. Yeah. On the topic of career phishing, as it's growing in visibility, it's fair to see that it's very deceptive. So is it fair to say that it's purely deceptive, or is it also a reflection on how demanding and competitive the job market is at the moment?
Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm on social media. I also do a lot of content. So I've got 75,000 people following me across multiple platforms, and they're all like job seekers, right? So I have people that are in pain in the job search every day talking to me on social media. So I am going to say, this might be controversial, but I get why people might be doing that. I think it is really tough out there. It is so competitive, and people are struggling. Like it's really debilitating. So I get why people are doing it, but I will also say there are better ways to get noticed. And I don't think being deceptive is going to help you out in the long term. I think it's a bit of a double-edged sword, to be honest.
Yeah, I've caught people out before, even candidates who I've worked with in the past. They've done placements to me, and then I've seen a new resume where it looks completely different, and I've had to say something. You're going to have to tell the truth here. We can't have you lying on your resume. And it was due to employment gaps. So he was like, I want to fill in the gaps, and I said, there's other ways that you can get around that. And obviously, with the exaggeration, are there any areas like technical skills or industry knowledge that they could do instead of lying?
Yeah. Well, I think like what I've seen is like the lying is coming through with technical skills. People are literally making up experiences that, instead of showing that they have a gap, they're like, oh yeah, I was doing some consulting freelance, like just making up stuff that they've done. But instead of feeling that you have to do that, I think there's a few areas that you can focus on that isn't lying. The first thing is going, okay, well, why am I afraid to hide, what my career narrative really is? What am I, what is holding me back from really being able to articulate what that is and the value that I can actually bring to an organization? I think that's the first step, right? Because I think a lot of the time, if we're lying on our resume, we're lying on our LinkedIn, then why do we not think that we're good enough or have what it takes to get the roles that we're applying for, right? So that's like an internal shift. And then I think as well, in terms of the technical piece, experience piece, it's like, okay, well, if you don't have everything that job description is looking for, what are transferable skills that you can, really highlight, amplify, use on your resume as well? I think the other piece as well is, what is your online presence? Like, how are you actually putting yourself out there on LinkedIn to stand out from the, hundreds of or thousands of other people that are up against you in the job market? Like, I think we're in a job market now where candidates, as difficult it is, and as much, I have a lot of empathy for anyone that's looking for a job right now. I get it.
Yeah.
But you have to do the thing that other people aren't prepared to do. What's the thing that's going to make you a little bit uncomfortable? If it's like starting to post once a week on LinkedIn about what you're really good at, what your strengths are, what your skills are, what you can offer, just do the thing that no one else is doing. And that's going to make you stand out a little bit more. I think it's, you have to do more than just building a great resume, because everyone can have a perfect resume now. We have AI. So I think they are some key points to start really thinking about if you want to progress. And the other thing is your network. Are you really using your network as much as you can be using it? I think that's a whole other conversation. But I think a lot of the time, if we go through our career, we can often forget what are all the jobs we've had in the past, who are all the people we worked with, the managers that we had, the people in those organizations that we could potentially reach out to. And I don't think there's any shame or embarrassment in doing that, because people like to help people. And if they don't want to help you, then you don't want to be their friend anyway. So
yeah, no, that's some really good tips for the employee side. In terms of the employer's perspective, so how can businesses protect themselves from career phishing without overlooking candidates who have real potential and may not tick every box?
Yeah, I think this is a really interesting one. First and foremost, if you're bringing in someone into your organization that says they have experience that they really don't, well, what is your reference checking looking like? What's your background checks, your compliance? How are you actually cross-checking anyone that's coming into your organization? Like, do you have a process around that where you're perhaps being lax on that? And I understand that organizations can be under a lot of pressure to do hiring and hire fast, especially like high volume. There's lots of different people coming through doors. So there's a lot of different things to manage. But if this is something that is hurting an organization or an employer, it's like, okay, well, you need to get your compliance at a higher level. I think as well, in terms of how you're advertising the role, I think being more specific in what you're really looking for. I think there's a lot of generalized job ads out there. I think there's a lot of job descriptions that could have a lot more work around, like, okay, well, what has worked in your company before in these roles? What are really good people doing that you want to kind of replicate through your organization? Like, don't just put some general job out there, because you're going to get a bunch of people that are going to be making up things or don't really match it, and you're going to get a lot of people that aren't relevant. So get better at your job ads and your job descriptions. Look at your resourcing. Like, as you guys know, in recruitment, there's many different channels to find good people, but if you're not putting out the right messaging at the start, then you're not going to attract the right people. But I think as well, to avoid, being targeted by the career phishing as an employer, as well as your compliance and back end, what does your screening process look like? And I think there's a balance there. And I feel like you might be able to comment on this, Aiden, but you can have a screening that's going to eliminate a lot of people, which are potentially those good people, or you can have a screening that is going to include those people and just be more effective. Like, I think there's a balance between having a screening that's just really general and not going to bring, like, just doesn't even make sense. Like, make your screening make sense. Like, what do you really need from not just an experienced technical skills, but like a values perspective? Maybe there's something about putting in your screening, like, what's your favorite thing to do outside of work? I don't know. Like, make your screening a little bit different to get people in that are going to stand out to you, that potentially have similar values or similar work ethic or whatever it is to how you operate as a company.
Yeah. There's a lot of businesses I've been meeting with as well. They're using a lot of AI tools and tech tools to screen candidates. And I've been saying you need to still have that human element, because that's where you are missing out on candidates, and that's where people can fall short as well.
For sure. I read an article the other day, actually, and I think there's a lot of talk around the career fishing piece. And I'm going to actually look at my notes because it just had a really good quote from there. It was like, someone writes intermediate on a skill because it's the honest answer, and they get screened out before a human even sees their name because they're not writing expert or they're not writing a certain level. But just because they're intermediate doesn't mean that they couldn't do the job. So I think, yeah, you're totally right. AI is amazing. Love it. Have my own AI tool, but you are missing out on some really good candidates without having that human element. And if you are going to use AI, well, how can you blend AI and human?
Yeah, exactly. And for job seekers, what would be the longer term consequences for overselling themselves?
Yeah, I think, look, it's going to get you in the door, maybe, but then you actually have to deliver. So if you've lied about what you've said you could do, and the employer's going, okay, well, we have these expectations of you and you can't do it, then you're going to get extremely stressed and anxious in your role. And again, there's been studies shown that people that are career fishing and getting into these roles where they don't actually have the experience, they're quitting pretty quickly because they're like, oh, I don't have this experience and this is causing me way too much anxiety and stress, and I'm going to get fired probably anyway. So I think the long-term impact is that you're going to, I don't know, not enjoy your work and literally get anxiety over work. I think as well, you're not setting yourself up for a successful future with your career because you're not really going into roles that are truly aligned to you. And what I mean by that is that if you're having to lie on your resume to get in the door of a certain organization, is that the right role and organization for you?
Yeah.
Why don't you focus on roles and organizations that are going to look at you? Because that's probably when you're going to get better opportunities for yourself and more long-term gains.
Yeah. And looking ahead, do you think career fishing will become more common, or will it go the other way and businesses start to tighten up their hiring process to push back?
Yeah, look, I think something has to change because it seems a bit broken at the moment from both ends. Like, people are having to lie on their resume to get through the door. Truth is getting overlooked in hiring processes. Like, what can employers do better in their recruitment strategy to get the right people in and to have better hiring processes? And what can candidates do to position themselves better online to get noticed by the right employers? So there's work to be done on both sides. And I know there's pain points with both sides as well. I get it. But I think, it probably will go on for a bit longer. But I think until the majority of these organizations that are being impacted, or the candidates, start to feel the real pain of what this is doing, we won't really see a change immediately. Like, I think it's something that people are only just starting to hear about and figure out. So it probably will still last for a bit longer until people start to really be impacted on a wider scale. But if you can change now, then why not change now and start to, be the positive trend? Don't be a sheep. Don't follow everyone else. Do the thing that needs to change to see the change that you want to see.
100%. Great. Oh, well, that's some really useful tips for candidates and employers. So I really appreciate your time and all the insights that you have. If people want to reach out to you, Chloe, what's the best way to reach out to you?
So you can find me on socials. Career Coach Chloe is me. Instagram, TikTok, and then on LinkedIn, Chloe Careers, Chloe Spillane, my personal profile. Please reach out. My DMs are always open, or you can just send me a message on LinkedIn, whatever works for you.
Great. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Thanks so much for having me. It's been really great.
So that's all we have time for this week. If you're looking to grow your career or build your teams, me and my team are here to help. You can reach out to me on any of my socials. You can call me. You can send me an email. All my details will be below. Thank you for joining us this week, and I'll see you on the next one.